Well, welcome to Chapter 15, the Excel version. I just have open the publisher Excel that I put out there in my.usf. It's the same thing that they show you in the book also. They always have pictures of certain parts of this in the chapter. And it's got 4 tabs, and I want to show you a little bit about each one. The first tab is called Cash Conversion Cycle. And so this just kind of walks you through the calculation to do the CCC computation. It shows you the formula right there. Shows you a real nice example here down to also. So it just kind of shows you some of the data that goes into it. And it shows you the calculations right here. You can see the formulas here as they compute each one of these ratios. So just remember, you're just adding together 3 ratios is really what this is. And it converts each of these ratios into days. You just add, basically the sum of the is plus plus minus for this last one. And you get 67 for this example. So you can definitely use this then as you do this type of calculation for Aplia. You can come over here and just plug in the new numbers and be able to do the calculation here. Gives you a really nice explanation then also, and basically just says, what are some things, some other things that go into the calculation, what are some things that we could maybe affect to change the calculation and so on. Because really when a company computes its initial CCC, it has to ask itself, is that a good number? Am I good with 67? What can I do if I'm not happy with 67? How can I make that even shorter? And you can look at, obviously, all 3 parts of this and think about policy changes that the company can do to try to affect the calculation. Clearly, these you can make them go up or down, and this one you can make go up or down also as you decide to change policies and affect policies. So they do a good job of explaining that. The next big thing is the cash budget. Let me get to the top of the page here for this one. And so they give you a really nice calculation here for how to do a cash budget, a cash forecast, really. And so they kind of walk you through some inputs here. They talk about collections. So during the month of a sale, 20% of that cash will be collected in the month of the sale. 70% is collected the next month, the next following month. And then 2 months later, we collect 10%. We have no bad debts in this example. It was a discount on first month collections of 2%. So if somebody pays within the first month, they get a 2% discount. Purchases are a percent of next month's sales, 70%. We have some fixed lease payments. We have some construction cost just happening just as a one-timer. Target cash balance of 10. And 0 for our sales adjustment factor. So then we just plug in our sales numbers, which are base numbers plus a growth rate, which came from G15, which we're just projecting no growth rate as of right now. And then we go down here and we just look at our inputs based on sales affected for discounts, and then we've got our next month's collections and the 2 months later collections. All those numbers are right here based on numbers that come from above. Same with purchases and payments. And then we get down to the bottom, we get down to the yellow highlighted rows. Up here is my cash in, down below is my cash out. And you can see that for the first few months I'm projecting net negative numbers. And so I have a minimum cash balance, a target of 10,000 that I'm trying to get to. So I'm going to have either a surplus or a shortfall then in some of my months. And so then, of course, if I have a a need, basically cash that is I need to borrow, now I can figure out what that is also. And then, of course, down here I can do the what if game and what they call sensitivity analysis and decide, are there some things I need to change, as I affect my bad debt expense? How will that impact my cash? And so down here, if my sales numbers changes, how does that impact my cash? How does that impact, how much loan I need to maybe acquire? So just what's nice about those is it kind of lets you play the what if game and go, if I'm able to affect something in my cash budget, how will that impact my need for financing? That's what they explain to us. This is an add-on interest example. I kind of went through that kind of fast in the PowerPoint. And the book always has examples, and they've got an example in the book, and this is the calculation for the example of add-on interest, and just showing us what the rates are for add-on interest. You've got the approximate rate, the APR, the annual percentage rate, and then the effective rate. Just doing those calculations. You can use the effect formula from the Chapter 5 Excel that I gave everybody to do present value and future value calculations. One of the formulas I gave everybody in that file was the effect formula, which computes the effective annual interest rate. Then the last tab was some of the self-test questions in the chapter. Just walks you through how those were calculated. You can see there's 4A, B, 5A and B. Simple interest loans and add-on interest loans are here. So just more examples of the add-on interest is right here. The simple interest loans are pretty easy to compute. It's just simply principal times interest times time is the calculation. So you'll be doing a few of those when you do the work in Apply. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. So if you have questions, just let me know. But this Excel file is a great example to use, and you can actually even do some of the calculations here that you'll need to do in Applia. And what's nice about that is, even if you just do some tweaks to this file to just put in the new numbers, and if you happen to goof up a formula, no big deal. Just go open a new version of this Excel file, and you're good to go again. So that would be my advice to everybody as you work on the Apply assignments. Just have this Excel file open, and you can follow some of the examples or use some of these same formulas. Just put in your new numbers to get the new calculations that you would enter into Applia. And if you have questions, just let me know. Thanks.